What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, let's get straight into things. So obviously we're starting a new week. We are coming to the end of September tomorrow, which is crazy to think. Elections are fast approaching. Winter is fast approaching, and the horrible month of December, for the charts anyway, is also approaching. So first, let's find out what we have in the news this week. I haven't actually taken a look yet. Right. And this week we have high impact news. Oh, we have PMI. Oh, and a non-farm payroll, of course. So yeah, another big week likely. We do have high impact news on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with Friday being non-farm payroll. So I am expecting a lot of volatility, especially as we run into the last quarter of the year now. So yeah, it should be quite a nice start to the week. So in terms of what I'm expecting, I'm not going to talk too much on what I'm expecting next month just yet. But obviously we're still expecting a down close month, just as we started at the beginning of September. But let's go to the weekly, and there's a few things that I want to get drawn out. So first, it's these lows, which I've had my eyes set on for a while now. If you've been watching me, you'll know about that. So let's get that marked out as south side liquidity, because this is and still remains my main draw on liquidity for the week in general for the higher time frames. And then there's a little weekly fair value gap right here as well. So it'll be interesting to see if we can trade down through this south side liquidity, and then try and fill this fair value gap in the discount as well. So let's also get that marked out. We'll make it red. And you'll see how it also lines up nicely with this bullish order block right here on the weekly. So yeah, I'm looking for price to continue to draw down here. There's no reason for us to expect anything different. We have a nice bearish order block right here, and I did speak about this bearish order block last week. And what I'd said is that we're looking at the 50% level to get respected, and you'll see how that's exactly what happened. We came right up to the midpoint of that bearish order block, respected it, and continued lower. So the fact that we respected that is all indicative of price wanting to move lower, because we're respecting bearish PD arrays. So this midpoint is a bearish PD array in that price shouldn't trade through it. It didn't. It rejected it, and we've closed lower as well, just as we anticipated. So now that we've traded to the 50% level of that, I do want to look at the opening of this bearish order block, especially since we've closed below it, and I'm looking for price to do the same thing. So I don't really want to see price trade back above there. There is an implied fair value gap over here. That's going to be the very highest I want to see price trade this week. However, any higher than that, and I'll be quite suspicious. But generally speaking, I'm looking for price to respect this opening of this weekly bearish order block, and then trade on lower into our south side liquidity pool down here. So let's just get a few things defined. We've got a weekly bearish order block open here. And then we have a weekly implied fair value gap here, just so that we're aware of it. Let's make that smaller so we can see it. And then this is our weekly south side liquidity pool that we're expecting price to trade down into. So let's now go down to the daily, and you'll see very disgusting price action still. We still haven't had any large expansion, which is what I'm waiting on. So honestly, at this point, you see how we're range bound between here and here. I wouldn't be surprised if price continued to be whipping back and forth. So in terms of what I'm expecting moving into Monday and Tuesday, I'm just waiting for this low to get ran, and then as soon as that's ran, I'll be happy to expect us to trade down into our weekly fair value gap, and then there's potential for a possible reversal or something outside of there. But nonetheless, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we stayed range bound. There really isn't nothing much to go off. Honestly, guys, if you've been trading like the past 3-4 weeks, price action's just been disgusting in general, so I haven't been trading pretty much at all. I do think it's going to loosen up after non-farm payroll, just for the last little quarter of the year before we approach December. But generally speaking, I just want to see continued downwards price action. Now, if we continue to see that downwards pressure running up to non-farm payroll, and we've reached our discount PD array at non-farm payroll, then and only then could we start thinking about potential reversal to trade on higher. Now, I'm not going to talk about that too much, probably not until Wednesday or Thursday, but my point is, I don't want to see price, well, I especially don't want to see price past that implied fair value gap right here. And you can see that from, look at how much price has gone back and forth around that range. Gone back into it, out of it, like, it's not, this isn't made up, as in, this isn't random. You can see that they're using that price level, and they clearly want to leave it. Like, look at where volume's respecting. So we want to continue to see this as we move into the new week. But with non-farm payroll, we can expect a lot of manipulation in that we might find it rallying on Monday, and then Tuesday it might drop. But generally speaking, this is my target for price. And once we get down there, I'll probably leave it alone and wait for the next week. But yeah, honestly, there's not much to say. And the reason for that is because look at that. This isn't nice conditions, guys. It really isn't. So yeah, that's going to pretty much be everything on dollar. Let's head over to GBP USD. We'll start on the monthly here as well. Disgusting price action. Yeah. And to be honest, if you've only come to me, like if you only found my channel recently, you probably only heard me just say, oh, price action is rubbish. Oh, price action is rubbish. And that's because, one, it is. And it's unfortunate because it has been for the past 2-3 weeks. But the real ones that have been watching me for, God knows how long, you'll know that when there's good months, September was not a good month this year, but when there's good months, I can really strive, and, accuracy is crazy, and we need to just wait and be aware of those times of the month. But nonetheless, what I have my eye set on, I do like the look of this last down close candle before this bearish order block. So this is what we call a breaker. So let's get that marked out, because price may want to continue to draw up in towards that. Oh, that's the monthly, my bad. Let's go to the weekly, and you can see we have actually traded up into our fair value gap. No, we haven't, not just yet. So I'm still expecting us to trade and fill this fair value gap the same way I'm expecting dollar to fill its weekly fair value gap. So it'll be nice to see if this can happen this week. And then any higher than that, I want to see us touch this bearish order block right here. So this is where I'm looking for the premium. In terms of discount, it's beautiful to see how price traded down into this bullish order block, just as we anticipated last week. Hopefully you watched last week's videos, but I did speak about this range. You can see how price came in it, and then we've expanded higher. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't as simple as price just coming in it, like on a daily basis and then traded on higher, because when we drop down to daily, you'll see how, we've done that all on Monday pretty much, and then the rest of the week just consolidated. So not ideal at all, but nonetheless, it's useful to us. Why? Because now that this PDRA has been traded to and we've left it, it's indicative, again, of higher pricing. Now, we do have a range here between this high and this low. We can look at the midpoint of this range, and that's going to be the very lowest I want to see price trade before we start trading up into our premium. Because remember, we're expecting a lot of manipulation, so we need to allow price to have that kind of discount to offer before we run out these buy stops from last week. So let's go to the daily. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if price wanted to drop first, maybe potentially run out these stops. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But generally speaking, I'm looking for price to continue drawing higher. Remember, this is a weekly bearish order block. Let's get that marked out. And then this is a weekly fair value gap as well. So I want to see that get filled. But in terms of discount, we may want to run these stops, but then I'd expect price to turn around and run up into the premium. Only after we reach this bearish order block would I expect us to trade lower, like actually start hunting for sell stops. Any kind of, fall in price and running out stops in the sell side until we reach there, any kind of that nonsense happening, I'd see it as suspect and simply just a run on stops. But after we trade to that, then it won't be a run on stops. I'd see it as targeted assault. It makes it sound criminal. I mean, I guess it is in one way or another, but in terms of how they hunt our stops. But let's go to the 1 hour, and you'll see again, disgusting consolidation, some beautiful Southside liquidity here, which is why I'm saying let's allow price to potentially come lower, grab that Wednesday low, and then we may see another reversal to run higher and take out these relative highs. This is assuming we don't just trade on higher off the back of Monday and Tuesday. But we need to be aware and just leave room for that as a possibility. And yeah, just keep our eyes on the price, because I'm expecting us to continue to draw on higher, purely because dollar, I'm not convinced we're done, and I do want to see dollar reach down into its Southside liquidity pool and into this weekly fair value gap that's pulling price lower. So I hope that all makes sense. We're going to finish up on Euro USD. We'll start here on the weekly as well, and obviously we want to look for potential premium PD arrays. It's the same PD arrays I drew our attention to last week. It's just, so what you'll find is that the past 2 or 3 weeks I've been drawing out the same PD arrays, and that's just because price hasn't been moving. Like, it's been very stuck, and that's why I've still got my eyes set on this rejection block level right here. You can see price tried to get up there. We didn't quite do it. We did trade down into the bullish order block, which was nice to see, and came off of it. So now I am going to be looking at this long wick from last week. And you guessed it, I'm looking at that midpoint. I want to see that get respected with the expectation to draw up towards our premium PD array, being this rejection block level, yeah. Right, so let's now drop down to the daily, and you can see what I mean. Absolutely disgusting, a lot of back and forth. So we're going to allow price to do its thing, but not until we're on the buy side of the week in terms of us running towards our premium PD array. Do I really want to get involved with anything? There's that rejection block level, and you can see it lines up nicely with a bearish order block as well on the daily. So that should be quite a sensitive level. You can see relative equal highs up here as well, so it'll be nice to see if price can reach up there. Let's drop down to the 4 hour. And yeah, honestly, I don't really want to talk about it, because why does it look like that, you know? So yeah, I guess we just let Monday trade. Again, relative equal lows. Price may want to grab these stops and then rally. We need to allow that. If like I said, if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if we're rallying early in the week, then and only then would I expect a potential reversal, maybe just before non-farm payroll or something, to then come lower and then, you know, actually start hunting for sell stops. But generally speaking, in terms of the buy side, I don't think we're done. I do think price is going to keep marching on higher until we have, you know, significant sentiment such as non-farm payroll that's going to completely turn the market for the last quarter of the year, and obviously as we run quickly into elections. Now, I've never traded in election conditions, and I'm guessing what we're seeing in September and this disgusting price action is, you know, obviously affected by it. So in terms of volatility, I can imagine it's going to be heightened. That means less risk for us. I mean, more risk for us, but it just makes things a lot more difficult, because I'm learning just as much as you guys are learning right now. So we do need to take that into consideration. So yeah, that's going to be pretty much everything. Really crazy weeks. It's annoying how like range bound we are, you know, creating the low on a Monday, high on the Wednesday, and this consolidating the rest of the week isn't ideal. But nonetheless, there are still setups that are forming, and we do need to be aware of that. It's just, you know, it's hard when it's not as directional, as, you know, like this week, for example, we simply trade lower, create the low on Wednesday, trade on higher for the rest of the week. Very, you know, very classic price action that I'm missing almost. Same here, create the low on Tuesday, create the high on Friday. Very, you know, directional. And then you come to weeks like these that we're in, and it's a matter of 3 days to create the high and low, and then we're just stuck in consolidations. So we do need to think about these things, and that's what's making it very difficult right now. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope you found it insightful. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, join the mailing list, join the Discord. And yeah, obviously I'll be posting tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.